Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the south corner of the map playing in red, we've got Beastyqt playing as the Holy Roman Empire, and his opponent in the east playing in blue, we've got loueMT playing as the Jeanne faction. Welcome everyone to Frisian Marshes. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and hopefully we can make the day a little bit better with some great Age of Empires 4 action, of course. Two great civilizations, two great players battling it out on what is a great map. Frisian Marshes, one of my most favourite maps. Plenty of sheep on the map, plenty of food in fact. Got plenty of these shore fishes. Got boars, got deer camp, everything you could want. And in fact, it looks like Beastie opting to open up with a second scout to get as many sheep as possible. Can come in handy, of course. The Holy Roman Empire, very hungry on food. Courtesy of the Prelate. The Prelate buffering up these villagers' gather rate by 40%. Means they can chew through the food very, very quickly. Having said that, Jeanne will need a lot of food as well to be able to sustain the production of the French Royal Knight. I'm kind of excited about this matchup. We've seen it time and time again, actually. The Holy Roman Empire do tend to pivot towards the castle age, although with marching drills coming for free in the most recent patch, actually a feudal age extension is not too bad for them. Speaking of feudal age, the French, the Jeanne d'Arc faction know all about that age. They do pack a punch in it, do get plenty of those knights often, and can tend to do some damage with some good attacks coming in with raids with those knights. We'll see what happens today. What I'm kind of curious to see is how both players will look to challenge the forward gold positions that are often very exposed. Take a look at the two gold veins here, and of course the gold vein here for the HRE. In fact, there's only one here, which is kind of curious. The second gold vein for the HRE, a little bit further out. That's a bit of an awkward one, right? In fact, I don't know what was wrong with the spawn. It looks like Beastie doesn't actually have all his gold veins. Like, you usually have two to start off with, and then maybe a third a little bit further out, which is exactly what Louis has, but Beastie's only kind of got one gold vein here, so he's going to have to do well to protect it. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Louis picks up on that and decides to put an outpost there at some point. We'll have to see. Either way, good morning, good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well and enjoying the content on the channel so far, and I'd like to say a very big thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel, whether it be on Twitch and YouTube. You guys are absolute legends. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been great so far recently. In the last couple of months we had a lot of growth, and hopefully that will continue. I've definitely been enjoying casting Age of Empires 4. We've had some cracking games, actually, I gotta say. And I've been a bit more selective about the ones that I upload onto YouTube. I'm only uploading the very best ones that I feel like were really good epic games, that kind of thing. Just so that I know that, when you guys click a video on the YouTube side of things, you know that it's going to be a banger of a game. What I'm kind of excited about is to see how much of an extension to the feudal age loueMT decides to play out here with Jeanne. Does he really look to get a massive knights to put some pressure on? I feel like it could play well out that way because, of course, the only single gold vein that Beastie has. We have sometimes seen the HRE go for a bit of a sneaky second town centre. I'm not expecting it today because, of course, with being in a corner like this, it can be very easy to get stuck at home, especially considering the aggression that's likely to come out from the Jeanne d'Arc faction. Of course, as with any map, there's plenty of relics on offer, pretty evenly spread out as well. And two sacred sites, we'll see if that ends up being a factor in the game. Especially if it does go to a mid to late game, two gold veins that have 8,000 gold in them could become very important, and also trade, of course. Now, whilst loueMT did actually opt for the School of Cavalry, a lot of arguments can be made for the Chamber of Commerce as a trade landmark. We won't be seeing that today, I'm afraid. It will, of course, be the Archon Chapel for the HRE. Kind of understandable, it kind of has to be done, really. It's such a strong landmark, with the Prelate being able to garrison inside. And the food economy for the HRE can be super, super powerful when you've got a lot of farms around it with the Prelate inside. The gather rate can be incredible in the mid to late game, if we get that far. Of course, a lot of time between now and then, lots of things to happen, and it's getting pretty heavy on gold, so quite likely just to continue massing up a lot of knights and maybe a fast castle behind that as well. Be interesting to see how much he commits though. How many knights will he make? Will he add in a secondary production building, which is typically the case? Typically opting for archery ranges, that knight archer combination for the Jeanne d'Arc faction can be incredibly potent. Beastie getting a preemptive outpost and a barracks just in case. Bit of an interesting approach. I do love the outpost position, actually. There's always a temptation to get an outpost a little bit further in the size of the gold vein or even in front of it just to extend the range of it, but the problem with that is, well, when the knights charge on in, the villagers will actually start walking towards the knight to be able to garrison inside. Leaves them a lot more exposed, right? But with the outpost back here, the villagers will actually run away from the charging knight to get inside the outpost. Makes them more likely to survive. Speaking of which, that knight just about to dive in. loueMT not taking the bait though, because the outpost just to be built and has got 5 garrisonable spots in them, with 4 villagers currently mining gold, although make that 3 because they're now going to be dropping down a stable. So yeah, the HRE looking to get that extended fuelage. Beastie just trying to mine a little bit of extra stone for that arrow slits and placement, which is actually really great to have. It increases the damage output, makes it a lot more difficult for those knights to jump on in and try and raid. Certainly, the aggression coming out for loueMT first, and the HRE just going to have to buy some time and slowly push out eventually. Spearmen on hand to chase away those knights. Well, one knight anyway for now, but more on the way. No villagers on stone just yet for loueMT, so adding in that second archer range instead to extend that fuelage. And we do have Jeanne as the hunter now, so does have the divine arrow, can actually snipe things quite heavily. Possibly looking to snipe out the villager, but she did give the attack notification on the mill, so Beastie was well aware of that potential threat. Almost feels like this could be setting up for an outpost rush. Do we see a villager coming across? Oh wait, where were these guys off to? 2 of them. Yeah, he's sending it, Louis. He wants an outpost, and understandably so. Like, if you can cut off gold, that's a big thing. Especially when you factor in the HRE, do love to get to that castle to try and get the relics, of course, with the Regnus Cathedral if he decides to do it. And Jeanne being able to heal herself out of combat. Starting her journey as a humble hunter. Will be moving up the ranks, and depending on how quickly she can go, have a massive influence on the game. There's 2 villagers, which should actually... I'm not sure if it's totally in range of these villagers on gold. Maybe this one on the side, but either way, I wonder if, this does go up. There's going to be a strong position. I'm sure the Beastie will try and challenge this, and probably does have enough, actually, with a couple of horsemen and spearmen. Should be able to buy some time, although with archers on the way, that does add a bit of a problem, right? Because his archers will be able to snipe those spearmen, and cause some problems for sure. Looks like he's going to push on out before those archer numbers start to mass up. With a good number of spearmen, should be okay taking this fight. I think those villagers have to back away. They are backing away for Louis. Knights charging in on those horsemen. Needs to be careful not to take a hit on those spearmen. Archers and Jeanne focusing on those spearmen as best they can. The spearmen numbers, if they do start to dwindle, then Jeanne could be in trouble. She might be in trouble anyway because she's quite low in health. Pretty fragile at this stage, actually. The Knight's trying to block in, and good pressure coming out for Beastie, trying to snipe Jeanne, but Divine Restoration comes out, heals all the units up, and she buys some time for her army. She's doing pretty much all she needs to do on those spearmen, getting good damage output, very low on health, and I think Beastie will try and snipe her, should get it in the end. There she goes, down she goes. But she probably will be rising from the ashes pretty soon. Spearman numbers starting to dwindle, and actually Louis should be able to solidify this position once again, but she has been slain, Jeanne. And no semblance of her coming back just yet. 250 gold, and maybe loueMT will wait, we'll see. Either way, needs to delete that outpost if you can, Louis. Did delete it, but lost a bit of resources because of the torch damage that came out, and yeah, Jeanne is now back on the field. Good initial aggression for Louis, but needs to do a lot more, right? Plenty of gold coming in for Beastie, so should have enough to get to the castle age, but the big deal is really, there's one thing getting to the castle age. There's one thing making it work for you, right? Because you need that gold income to be very safe. I wouldn't be surprised to see Beastie try and add in a second outpost, potentially. It could be an option to try and solidify that position, because it doesn't seem like loueMT's letting up. 2 more villagers heading out, and this time, with many more archers, makes the spearman a little bit less of a threat from the HRE. What would be a threat is, though, a couple of horsemen diving on the gold vein. Beastie go for a bit of an attack and making sure that, well, sometimes attack is the best form of defense. It does take a couple of arrows, but it backs on away with those horsemen. Knight charging on in. 2 villagers are starting to build up the outpost again. I'm not sure Beastie will allow this to go up. He probably shouldn't do. Looks like he is going to move out, but this time there's a good number of archers for Louis, so he should be able to pick up a lot of those spearmen. Well, the archers actually targeted the horsemen there initially, but they're just backing away. They're getting poked and prod. Does lose an archer as the initial engagement comes in from the horseman. Loses a second, actually. Trying his best to take as a number of those spearmen as possible. Knight's diving on in. Picks off one of the horsemen. Good challenge on that. The horsemen actually going for the villagers, which is a bit of a shame because it's not going to work. The villagers will survive, and a couple of horsemen died for that cause. And loueMT about to go again. Yeah, there's that second outpost. He wants that desperately. 8 villagers building it. He needs that protected gold. He does have the gold for the age up that he needs. A bit more food extra needed. He'll be fine, but this early aggression actually really suits loueMT. What it allows him to do is to force HRE to be in the base and not being able to branch out to the pocket economies. The sheep is what is really having to rely on for now, rather than any sort of other source like the fish, of course, or even the steer camp. Is mining a little bit more stone for that arrow slits in placement. And it's actually going to... Wait, he's going to go for the Burger of Palace? Okay, I mean, he senses the aggression coming on in, right? And he's a little bit antsy about it, so Beastie wants to increase his production. Does already have one barrack, so it's going to have a lot of production capabilities behind this. Starting to make those man-at-arms, which is always a dangerous unit, especially against most civilizations. But Jeanne is one of the civilizations that can kind of deal generally well with it because of the Royal Knights, right? But of course, loueMT will look to try and get to the castle age somewhat soon, or maybe not. She's going for siege engineering. So definitely committing to that feudal age. If there's a civilization that can do that pretty well, it certainly is a Jeanne d'Arc faction. And I quite like it, right? Because you kind of need to cut off the gold supply. He's nowhere kind of near to the next stage himself, although he's starting to take the pocket economy, so the economy should start to rock and roll. Getting the deer camp as we speak for that extra bit of food. And this aggression, this map control that loueMT has, allows him to venture out so far. He's taking shorefish as well. We need to get an outpost just for extra protection. Of course, Beastie just keeping an eye on that in the stealth forest with that scout. Might be looking to try and take advantage of that pocket economy that's a bit exposed. Later on in the game, we'll see. And Beastie, with the Burger Palace, is now getting the upgrade to the man-at-arms to make them incredibly tanky. Does have heavy maces as well, which makes him actually a little bit more effective, of course, of dealing with the knights. Look how fast it comes in as a research as well. Increases the bonus damage by +6 against heavy targets. So yeah, they definitely hold their own, these man-at-arms. There's the first round being made by Louis. He's about to get going. Going out for the outpost first. There are a couple of villages garrison inside, so we'll get some arrow damage out of it. Emergency repairs coming from the HRE, of course. Spearman about to chase that down. Archer numbers not looking too great, though. Having said that, taking out a good number of spears. Jeanne falls. Louis does have a decent number of army, but with the man-at-arms now popping out, I mean, I think loueMT recognizes now this must be Burger of build, right? Man-at-arms coming out so fast. And this is going to be a little bit tricky now for loueMT. Probably has to back away and think about Castle Age, because the amount of production the beast is going to have, he should be able to... Although, to be fair, look how much the knights are tanking. Didn't quite have the numbers there. Beastie sending a couple of villages. I'm not sure what they're about. Maybe just got grouped in there with the army. I think Beastie might need to stop trickling in the units, though. They're definitely buying time. But loueMT still does have quite a bit of army here. Has enough to deal with it. It looks like Beastie backing away just to remass and regroup and recuperate. I'm going to get chivalry for the upgrade that helps the knights heal on up. I'm going to get another ram. Obviously can be really tricky to put some pressure like that because of the HRE emergency repairs. But he's trying his best to get a bit of a road into the base. Good thing you had an outpost there, loueMT, actually. Would have lost a village or two maybe there otherwise. Does have a bit of food and gold left over, so he's not sort of drastically away from the castle age, but he's really knuckling down in this feudal age. Chivalry now in will help these knights heal on up. Decent number of man-at-arms popping out for Beastie, but he has got a bit of a lag time in terms of production, right? Because he's actually opting for the farms now. Well, he has to, really. The sheep have been taken care of, and the kind of great thing for loueMT, he does have a timing window behind this, right? Because his farming transition is relatively delayed, or he's delayed it, because he's able to take the deer camp and the shorefish. Whereas Beastie had to invest quite a lot of wood into farms. Speaking of which, wood invested in this ram didn't get much value out of it at all. Man-at-arms, will he try and snipe it? Looks like he will. Takes out the ram. Doesn't quite have enough knights here. Jeanne did fall and she does return instantaneously. Now it looks like Louis is certainly posturing towards that castle age. Doesn't want to take an engagement here just yet until his units get upgraded. Understandably so, because you want to... he'd be hard stuck in the feudal age otherwise. You'd have to make the army if he loses it. He's going to take the fight now, though. It feels like he's confident doing it. Of course, there's no real retreat for Beast. He doesn't have the mobility of the unit, so he's taking the fight massively. He will lose most of these units. It's actually incredible how well these knights can deal with even castle age man-at-arms. And loueMT, there's so many weak knights here, but that's purposeful. Like, he's kept them alive on purpose. Of course, microing away and will allow them to heal on up. And with the Royal Institute, this is actually an interesting choice. I'm curious one as well. Looks like loueMT wants to knuckle down and see this game out. Guildhall is an incredibly powerful landmark, especially in the mid to late game. It really does help them get that Imperial Age quicker, of course, with the Guildhall often toggled onto food, and then that just leaves gold income being needed for the Jeanne faction to get to that Imperial Age. But it looks like loueMT targeting the Royal Institute to be able to get those upgrades a little bit earlier and cheaper to do some more damage. He's a bit aggressive in the game so far, and he's not changing that game plan at all at this point. Oh, man of times on that gold vein. He's got to be careful here, Louis. He's got to micro the villagers away, wait for the knights to jump on in, and good charge on in. Does have some decent blacksmith upgrades as well. And there's that Royal Institute. Now that he's in the castle age, well, it did give a bit of time for BC to recover, right? So he's got some palisade walls on the left side, adding in some monasteries for those all-important relics. He's looking to challenge it now, but because of the aggression that came out for loueMT, BC was a bit preoccupied defending. Wasn't able to take advantage of his earlier tech-up time in terms of picking up relics. And so now it's kind of in an equal footing, right? Because he's only just adding the monastery now. Consecration has come out on these two stables, so the knights will be significantly cheaper. Knight upgrade's not in just yet, so I'm not sure loueMT wants to fight this. Does come in with, I think they're Jeanne's champions. That's exactly the case. He's going to fight it anyway. Royal Bloodlines is waiting for it. The Ventressy does come in for the Royal Knights, and Beastie doesn't quite have enough to really push in just yet. There's the monastery for Louis, looking to pick up those relics quickly. Jeanne running away and dragging away the units, which is actually quite important. Has already taken out that sacred site, which I love to see. Often it's something that's often not so much forgotten about. Yeah, sometimes forgotten about or delayed a lot, but loueMT straight on top of that sacred site. Wants that gold income. Massive charge on in. Good engagement. The spearmen were kind of caught trying to chase Jeanne for a second there, and loueMT took the most of that and made the best of it and took out a lot of spearmen. Great engagement for loueMT overall. They could pick up that first relic though, Beastie. Gonna bring it on home. A couple of spearmen being sent to the gold vein, which is a smart move. Like, this is the time where actually you start to run out of the first initial gold vein. Unlucky for Beastie, this second gold vein is so close to the initial one. Very easy to defend that position if you've got units, and that's exactly what he's got. Louis will spot that that relic's being brought back home. He's going to try and challenge it potentially, as Beastie tries to move out for the second relic as well. Oh, a couple of villagers. Well, I'm thinking about going on stone. Arbaletier being teched into. A very powerful unit, of course, for the Jeanne Dark faction. Doesn't want to engage that just yet, I think, there, Louis. There's just too many spears. Does back on out there. Wise choice. Gotta be careful about these man-at-arms on the back wood line, though. It was spearmen mostly, actually. Louis. Oh, they've been blocked in. That's a good pick off there. Should be about 3 villagers. The knights are not the way there. He's going to need Arbaletier. Let's just going for the unusual path back home, just to make sure he tries to stay secretive and stealthified and try and bring it back home. But loueMT, he's not letting this one out of his grip. Still hasn't been able to deal with these spearmen. Will eventually, with the Arbaletier numbers building up. Relic was right in the corner, tried to hide but couldn't quite manage it. And loueMT picking up this relic on the right side. That's the second of his relics picked up. There's one still in the middle of the map that both... Wait. Okay, he's actually going to go for this one on the left side first and then the one for the middle. He's not keen on giving that one up. Certainly things have quietened down a little bit now with both players in the castle age. Kind of the relic race emerging. Looks like Beastie opting for a lot more stone. Maybe for a keep. It looks like the case because... The great thing for the HRE, of course, can prioritise getting to the Imperial Age a little bit earlier than their opponents to get the Palace of Swabia to boom up with the villager count. Maybe looks to get a keep just to solidify his position, because, of course, the danger of Jeanne in the Castle Age early on is that powerhouse unit of the veteran Royal Knights, especially, like, as Beastie's playing, he's probably possibly thinking, like, Jeanne's gone for Royal Institute. That signifies it's possibly going to be quite aggressive. Because of that, it makes a lot of sense to try and get a keep. We'll lose a couple of villages though. Knights charging on in. Arbaletier mopping up as well, but good number of outposts to try and save those villagers. Try to escape with the relic there, Louis, but won't manage it. A spearman chase on in, and that woodline again targeted. A lot of idle time caused. And Beasty picking up a sacred site, but not for long. Charge comes on with the knight. I'm sure one knight will look to decap that. That's a significant amount of idle time, especially because he's struggling on wood here, Louis. Relocates that wood line. Couple of man times on these villagers. Got to be careful, Louis, that he spots that and pays attention. Hello, man time just passing. It's quite possible he's looking to see if there's trade, right? That's always a concern if you're the HRE going up with Jeanne. You know, they could always be trading. There's that keep to protect the secondary goal. Kind of needed, right? Because this is the only safe goal that he actually has access to. Safe-ish. Next to his base. Got to make sure he gets it protected. Oh, man at arms there. He's actually got an archer and one crossbow. Villager just about survives. Only just, though. Sacred site decapped in the middle. And he's picking off these stray forces. Great micro there by Louis, though, to keep those villagers alive. Bringing the weak ones in the outpost. The knights will take care of it. Speaking of knights, the knights should spot the keep going up. I don't think he has the ability to stop it, though. Knights charging on in. They need to back away. Oh, there's actually going to take the engagement. Oh, he loses about 3 of those knights really cheaply. The spearmen got them. It was 2 in the end. Jeanne's champion running on in. Arbiter behind. Getting a good number of those man-at-arms down. But now, the Relic going to be deposited inside the keep, making it extra tanky, extra powerful. 3 of the 5 relics have been picked up by loueMT, though, so it's got a slight edge on that regard. Horsemen coming up the north, looking to raid that deer camp. Of course, Beast recognizing that there's not enough spots here to garrison for these villagers. A lot of weak villagers, and Beast is going to target it. 2 knights are there, but that's not going to be enough. He's heading back, but constantly raiding Beasty. He's trying to get his position back in the map, right? He's trying to get a bit of space to breathe. Villagers running away. Should be able to get out of there. If the horseman spot it, though. Oh, Beasty spot it. Has he spotted it? He's running away anyway. Yeah, needs another second outpost to Louis, and he obliges. He gets it. 2 knights going to challenge these horsemen. Horsemen taken down by the town centre anyway. Well, these Arbiter might be caught. He's bringing them out now. Louis reacts at the same time. Try to get the sacred site in the middle. Beasty challenging it. Jeanne's champions comes out. Arbiter need to get out of that melee mosh pit. Doesn't want to engage there, ideally. Just a good number of spearmen. Knights are diving on in. I don't think knights want to engage that too much. There's just way too many spearmen. Holy smokes. Oh, Louis might lose a knight on the retreat. Nope, he managed to get out of there. He does have 2 sacred sites to his name now, so the timer has been started, but he's got to be careful with these knights and keep them alive as long as possible. Unit numbers really starting to build up for Beastie, though. That economy's starting to recover, and look at the farms. Holy smokes, that food gathering rate is really hefty at the moment. Outpost was burned down, and Louis actually going to lose a significant amount of his economy in the north. Cold Vein being raided, Beastie getting some good value. Louis, it does have a couple of knights, should clear this up, but not without casualties. Arbiter kind of taking out most of Beastie's army down in the middle in the South Forest, and they are grouping up together now, Louis. Good number of military units, 57. Beastie has lost a lot of units to the raid. He has caused some damage, but perhaps not as much as he would have wanted. Louis just creeping forward, and might need to add in some siege though, because this is the point where HRE becomes really dangerous. They're looking to go to that Imperial age, where he might just dive on in. Uh-oh. Louis, having won the initial fights there, he feels confident in his good unit numbers, and well, he's not wrong, right? The concern for Beastie, he's taking up at a time where he doesn't have much in terms of a standing army. And he could be caught a cropper. This timing for Beastie is awkward. The dive coming in, Louis timing it to perfection. Took some great fights, and he's doubling down now. The big concern for Beastie, he's had to migrate a lot of his villagers going outside the palisades, and sure, he'll get the Palace of Swabia safe and secure. He'll get the tech up, but at what cost? He's lost a lot of idle time, a lot of efficiency. And you know what? Louis might just take out all these farms. It's a heavy wood investment needed to rebuild these. But he's moving up towards the central area. Maybe looking to get that sacred site again, captured again, Louis. We shall see. But yeah, this is a bit of a problem. I don't think Beastie has enough to deal with this, right? He needs to buy time. To be fair, maybe this is an effective trade. At least he's not getting demolished with his villagers being killed. There is that Imperial Age. I've got to say, good number of units for Louis. He's really starting to mess up, and whilst he is an age behind though, so he has to consider that. Well, he does have plenty of food and gold in the bank, so he might be reaching that Imperial Age not too far off down the line. In the meantime though, it's causing a lot of damage. Beastie though, he's really struggling on food, right? This is a big problem. He needs to venture out to the shorefish potentially. I love the fact that loueMT is keeping a couple of lights there just in case, just to try and pick off villagers if he does try and get greedy. But he is back on wood again, Beastie. He needs to find a way back onto the farms before they get all burnt down. Most of them have already gone. And that keep a really good position for Beastie to try and hold on to his economy. It's good that he's got that because he needs to find a way to solidify and regroup. There's a mangonel. He's starting to get to that position though where he's actually built up a bit of a force and could take this fight pretty soon. But loueMT is quite keen on keeping this army here doing as much damage as possible. He does have a decision to make though, because Louis might sacrifice this army. He's going to go to the Imperial Age, and I think it makes sense a lot to stay here in this position, right? Because now that he's taking up, he doesn't want to get caught a cropper. He doesn't want Beastie to venture out with his army. He wants to keep Beastie's army here at home, just so he buys enough time for that Red Palace to go up, which should come up pretty soon. And there is that Red Palace right in the middle of the map, near the sacred site, 2 gold veins as well, so a really good spot to protect. And he does have enough stone for another keep, so I wouldn't be surprised to see keep going in this position, right? The double, well, the gold vein and the stone vein. That's a really powerful area to get control over. This is where things become a little bit dicey though for loueMT. These guys are elite man-at-arms, and they should rip through this quite quickly. And this is definitely go time for Beastie, recognizing that loueMT just got the Imperial Age. He doesn't want these units to be upgraded. But still, good number of arbaletiers involved. Jeanne has now gone over to level 4. She's turned into a markswoman. It's going to do untold damage, but good mangonel shots. Knights will possibly take those down. But they will be sacrificed for that. And eventually those knights will dwindle in numbers. They will perish. Beastie has managed to recover his area and is going to get the farms back built again. He's gathering wood that whole time. And he has recovered somewhat, Beastie. He's definitely not out of this, especially with the Palace of Swabia, because he's got plenty of villagers coming out. And the big concern for Jeanne is that while she did dive in here earlier without siege and caused a lot of idle time, actually caused significant damage. Next time, she will definitely need to bring siege. The problem with the Palace of Swabia going up against it is it's very rare to be able to raid the HRE to death, right? It's just, you kill one villager, another 2 pop out. Just gotta find another way here, Louis. Gonna get the outpost up eventually, but not without casualties. Possibly the Sacred Site victory could be a win condition, but only getting to the Imperial Age just a moment to go. Louis will need those upgrades coming in before he takes another fight, or a big fight at least. And Beastie's done a great job of killing a lot of villagers. We're heading to the moment of the match where actually gold becomes a little bit of a scarce resource. You can see Beastie making sure that this gold is not being taken easily. But I love the fact that actually Louis is taking the ones in the middle first, because, well, you kind of want to take these whilst you still can. There's the keep going up as a static defense on the extra gold vein. He's in a good control of the gold spots here, Louis. And that could become a problem for Beastie. Ah, look at this. The knight patrolling that gold vein, recognizing that Beastie might be heading out there soon. A great read there by Louis. And keep just about to go up in the north and keep that area safe and secure. Whilst he's by no means out of this Beastie, he's got to find a way back onto the map and get challenging of these gold veins, because once they go away, well, it's just going to be a lot more tricky, especially if it all gets into the bank of loueMT's Jeanne d'Arc faction, which he looks like he's trying to do. That's a fight that I don't think loueMT can take. Probably has to sacrifice the arbitrary, I'm afraid, there. Just escape with the knights. Here comes the bombard, though, for the HRE. Going to start making work on the static defenses and keeps. Louis was trying to get an outpost there for extra vision. Looks like it's going to be a forward market. Interesting. I think he just wants to rebalance that economy. Understandably so. Quick time. There's a lot of villagers here. Louis trying to delay the gold income coming in as much as possible, but there are a good number of spearmen. Some of them within the stealth forest, so Louis has got to be careful. Might lose one there. Will he get a knight? He should get one at least. No, maybe not. Horsemen are chasing, but spearmen couldn't keep up. Looks like Beastie should be able to get the decap here, which is unfortunate because there's only 6 minutes on that timer, actually. It's a bit surprising that loueMT has not walled that in or looked to protect it a bit more. Doesn't have the army there. It's actually quite low on army numbers, I've got to say. Beastie, his economy has really started to kick in once again with the farms on the Ark and Chapel. Look at that. 3,000 food per minute. It's such a strong landmark, and we're seeing exactly why. And the decap comes in now. He does have the elite upgrade to his Royal Knights, but too little too late. The horsemen have done their work. Knights should take care of the 2-3 horsemen. Trying to wall up now. I think he's thinking about trade, right? Getting tithe barns for those relics should get an extra bit of influx of food, wood, and gold. And stone, rather. For every relic. Is he starting to set up markets? Not yet. Not yet. But could be thinking about it. It takes a bit of time to get rocking and rolling that trade, so sometimes it starts a little bit early, even if you're still mining gold. With the Royal Cannon, it will take some time for this keep to go down, because of course it has been boosted up by the Relic, but this is a good start. Oh, the pathing on those knights. Oh no, Louis. He only lost one in the end, but to be fair, he's actually drawn the spearmen out and could get a decent number of villagers. But again, as we said with the HRE, losing villagers isn't necessarily a big problem when they can make them again very quickly, very cheaply. Royal Cannon should take that outpost. Oh, going a bit too close for comfort, I think. I mean, got to be careful, Louis. He's bringing it back now. The army going to block. Horseman going to dive on in. Arbitrator pick off a horseman. Manages to keep the bombard alive. But the bigger thing is that, of course, emergency repairs will just negate any damage that was coming out from the Royal Cannon earlier. And there is that second capping of the Sacred Site. Go for that victory again, potentially. Would love to see it keep in this position, though. It's already got the Red Palace on the other Sacred Site. I think the big concern, though, for Louis is the fact that the HRE have got so much food coming in. More than double the food. And eventually, Louis will need that farming transition. Has added in a second town centre, by the way, just to counteract the Palace of Swabia somewhat at least. But it has been very reliant on the berries and the shorefish. And the kind of crazy situation, actually, in this scenario is that, yeah, sure, the Jeanne d'Arc faction have got keeps up. They've got static defences, but Beastyqt taking the fight here with these spearmen. In great numbers, by the way. They are ripping through those knights, and especially with the man-at-arms sprinkled on in. I think, of course, you know, the numbers just a little bit too great with those arbitrary. Jeanne will win that fight in the end. But make no mistake about it, there's a bit of a pendulous swing here if that keep goes down, which does go down with the next shot with the bombards. They're going to try and snipe it with the knights, but villagers coming into repair, so he keeps all bombards alive with those spearmen protecting. Great work there by Beastyqt. And it's really coming down to the fact that actually Louis is struggling on food right now at this moment. And he's going to need that farming transition. Doesn't have much wood, so whilst he did have the static defenses, it's just going to buy him time. The question is, will it buy him enough time to get that farming transition? He needs it. He needs it quickly. Of course, loueMT's army, very food and gold heavy. Arbitrary and knights, and he's not got that much food in the bank. You can't say the same for Beast. He's got plenty of food in the bank. Farm's a little bit exposed though, no cannon outposts here. Needs to send some units to deal with this. Look to decap the Sacred Site once again. Now whilst he lost the Keep in the North, that's really significant because now Beastie has access to gold again. In a very meaningful way. There's a lot of gold there still to be gathered. Beastie's economy though being idled heavily. He's got plenty of food in the bank to use up as supplies whilst he deals with the raid. Jeanne still trying to make a move down the middle, but he's just finding it really hard to push on because of the keep and the outpost. And now with the addition of the culverin, that any sort of push is going to be even more tricky. There's a royal cannon moving away through. Two, in fact, through the stealth forest. Got to be careful not to lose them, though. But the trouble is, Beasty doesn't spot it, right? He doesn't know it. He doesn't know it's there. The culverin focusing on the military up in the north. Does get another defensive keep here, Louis, but he doesn't have control over the stone and gold, and this is a big, big factor in the game. There's plenty of gold still there to mine. Spearman brace, Knight's about to charge on in, but they back away. Doesn't want to take the fight, draws them into the fire of the arbaletier. Jeanne on the back line. Oh, the cannons, the horsemen going to take them down. They keep emergency repairs. That's absolutely huge. Emergency repairs came at the perfect time. Royal cannons had to deactivate and pack up and leave. Horsemen were chasing away. The Royal Cannons are still alive, to be fair, but the push is on. Look at the numbers of knights. That just died in a blink of an eye. Leaves the arbaletier alive, but that keeps staying alive with the emergency repairs. It's so strong. It's almost like loueMT's back to square one again. Looking to get some stone walls now. He desperately wants to keep Beasty out in the northern spot. Understandably so. All of a sudden, Beasty's pushing out. He's got massive resources banked up, right? So he can keep doing this all day. Picks off one of the Royal Cannons. About to get the second one, potentially, which will be absolutely massive. Oh, Divine Restoration comes out at the perfect time. Keeps the cannon alive for just a little bit longer, but there is a bombard. Jeanne's still alive, but only just. And if Beasty focuses on Jeanne, there she goes. Down she goes. A good number of knights, and the army's still prevailing there for Jeanne, that is for sure. So Beasty's going to have to remove those siege engines from that location, back over to the keep. But he's slowly pushing out once again. It's broken through on the north. The stone walls didn't get up in the end there for Louis. Definitely the momentum is starting to switch. 40 minutes into the game, this is where the HRE can become really powerful. Look at the economy he's got, Beasty. Absolutely phenomenal. Looking to get some more stone in the north, maybe to extend those static defenses. Beasty was trying to stop the stone wall going up. In the end, Louis will achieve it. And Louis backing away. He's feeling the pressure a little bit. Does have the Sacred Site victory win condition still active. I love this little detail, right? The man-at-arms just patrolling just in case trade is going on. So even if loueMT does want to get trade over, he has to take care of that man-at-arms first. And when he does, if Beasty does lose that man-at-arms, he'll know that trade's happening. It's a really good early warning mechanism. So Beasty now is looking to deactivate, and I don't think loueMT has enough to stop it. I mean, not in that position anyway. He has to get the army over there. Will he get there quick enough? Oh, the knights are charging in on the villager, not on the sacred site, and that means the sacred site will be deactivated. For the second time in the game, Louis misses out on that sacred site victory win condition. Diving up in the north, riding underneath the keep, which is less than ideal, but again, he's still forcing the Jeanne d'Arc faction away from his main base. Allows him to recover. Look at the siege engines popping out, mass mangonels, 2 bombards as well. That'll deal well against the arbaletier. Knights will clear up the horsemen, but I think Beasty will be okay with that, right? I mean, ultimately, horsemen are a throwaway unit. He's got plenty of food, plenty of wood in the bank. It's not really a problem. Mangonels starting to deploy in the palace, taking it down pretty quickly with the 2 bombards as well. This is massive. Villagers coming out to repair. This is smart. That was such a bait there. Those horsemen drew the knights away from this main area in the middle, and now Louis, he's a bit short on units in the middle. Loses that red palace. That went down in a blink of an eye. Good number of spearmen for Beasty. Now, miniature numbers don't look good for him, Beasty necessarily, but he's got the siege engines. That's the big difference. He's got to keep the siege engines alive, though. Jeanne, possibly can try and snipe a little bit. 2 royal cannons, snipes out a bombard. Spearman numbers are looking great, though. Rams come in on in, will distract the spearman potentially. It's going to go straight for the royal cannons. Should take him down. 2 mangonels still alive. The arbaletier on spread formation, so they won't take as much damage. But still bearing the brunt of a lot of those rocks. He loses 1 mangonel. The knights are charging on in and take them down. And Louis will hold in that position. They're going to get as much stone as he possibly can for another... Well, he could afford quite a lot of keeps actually at this point. It does feel like Rams actually possibly could be a good cost-effective way to push on in. Beasty will lose a couple to the knights. He's exhausted the gold vein in the north. He's got 2,000 gold in the bank here, Beasty. There's not much... Well, I don't think there's actually any more gold to be mined out. Let's take a look. Yeah, Beasty's got 0 villagers and gold, and Louis, he's got some gold coming on in, but not as much remaining on the map as it was, of course, 10 minutes ago. That was mopped up really quickly there by Beasty in this spot. 3,000 gold vein, or 4,000 gold vein, 3,000 was remaining there, only about 2.5 now. Looks like trade is being set up. Yeah, that's a lot of markets. Holy smokes, he needs gold, right? And I wonder whether Beasty will look to try and get trade as well, because he doesn't have that many relics, right? Only 2. I think eventually the HRE will need to start thinking about trade. There it is. He's got the market set up. I don't think he has all that many. Take a look at how much gold's coming on in. 79. Very, very respectable amount. For Louis, he's getting 75, so just a little bit less. Nothing to write home about. Good night raid around the back. Horseman will charge on in and take care of that. But Louis, he's aware of the trade, but he won't mind. He's trading himself, to be fair. And the kind of crazy situation now with both players looking to trade, the emphasis comes a little bit less on in terms of the middle of the map, but actually more about pushing in. Unless you're thinking about Sacred Site win condition, those spearmen, they're being sacrificed quite heavily. Breaking through with a couple of rams. Torches are out for the villagers. It's causing a bit of idle time for sure. Now, having added that second town center, Louis has caught up in villager count, especially adding the trade as well. Kind of neck and neck in terms of economy units. It makes you wonder then, who has the more population efficient military? And I gotta say, the French Royal Knights or the I mean, they are incredibly population efficient. I wonder if that's going to be what turns this tide of the fight. Spearmen, yeah, they're okay, but they're not that great population efficiency there. Like, you really want the premium units as much as you possibly can when you get to the stage when you're fully maxed out. And the spearmen just aren't in it. They just are not it. Red Palace has been rebuilt for the Jeanne d'Arc faction, so Louis got a stronghold in the middle. You can get more stone on the map. I love this play, actually. This is going to deny the trade in a big way. This is huge. Beasty, though. Will he get there in time? I mean, I think he should be able to get the keep up. He should be able to. He'll be fine, Louis. He might lose a couple of villagers, but that's fine. As long as the keep goes up, that's going to deny trade. And Beasty actually has to target this. The big concern for Beasty as well, though, is if he does try and... Well, he kind of has to, right? He has to address the situation that keeps the trade alive. As he does that, he has to commit units in this position. Boiling oil, doing all sorts of damage to the spearmen. And if he does commit units here, that might leave him a little exposed down in the middle at his main base. Bear in mind, though, Louis will need to bring siege. It's not enough to raid the HRE. It's almost impossible to raid them to death. Horseman. Speaking of raiding, that's what Beasty's game plan is in the north and in the gold vein. We'll get a lot of success here. He's fighting underneath the keep, but ultimately, I mean, I think loueMT will be okay with it as long as he tries to get as much of the gold out as he can. And most of it has been taken anyway. He's at full population capacity anyway. Takes care of the horsemen in the north. Look at this massive army down the middle. He's actually switched into man-at-arms. Interestingly enough, elite man-at-arms and arbitrary here. Now, it's going to do great against the spears. I love that switch. The big concern is, will Beasty be able to switch himself? The big problem is, if he goes for crossbows, mass crossbows, it leaves him vulnerable to siege. Not sure how Beasty holds this one, actually. This is looking hefty because he doesn't have trade of his own. Really effectively working for him. Whilst Louis does. Might possibly take in 2 mangonels. The spearmen, though, trying to bait them on in. The spearmen were ready. Beasty in the north, he's raining heavily on the trade, so Louis needs to try and take care of that. Look at this, the siege actually starting to come out. I love this play by Louis. He's added in rams, and so whilst he's fighting, the rams are doing the structural damage. It's exactly what he needs. Rams, though, coming out for Beasty to take a keep, but a second one coming out does have boiling oil. The villagers might look to try and torch this down. It's just going to get the keep up first and then torch down. We shall see, but Beasty's in trouble here. Does have a relic inside the keep, but the emergency repairs is activatable, so we'll buy some time with that. But yeah, loueMT's starting to get a bit of a steamrolling situation. He's lost a couple of economy units, but losing the traders in this sense is actually kind of doing a bit of a favor, right? He's got a decent amount of gold in the bag, but what it's really doing is allowing the military numbers to start build up, and he actually keeps that keep alive, believe it or not. Double keep, yeah, Beasty's going to struggle. Long-term gold is going to be an issue. And he's being pushed heavily. Emergency repairs was activated. Rams are coming on in. Mangonel possibly deploying on the Ablatrier. That could be big. But it's going to need some big shots for sure. Good number of Rams. They're trying their best. I mean, the horsemen are being focused on those Rams. And the big thing, though, is that it allows the Ablatrier to take care of them uncontested. Man-at-Arms tanking as well. Divine Restoration comes up for Jeanne just to heal everything on up. It does have emergency repairs. It's not going to come in on time. He's going to break on through. The keep will go down, even with the Relic inside. That's a big start to the push. Beasty, he's starting to lose ground here. He's starting to steamroll. He's trying to take care of the keeps on the west side to keep the trade alive, but he can't. Getting 146 gold per minute, that's going to be a really bad situation for him soon. He can't afford gold units. He's having to focus on horsemen and spearmen. But loueMT's got everything to do with that. And the Rams coming on in his clutch as well. He needs that. It's a totally different situation if he doesn't have those Rams. His trade is back up and running in a big way. That is a lot of traders, guys, for Louis. He has got no problem with gold access. It's trickling on in. Mangonel pops out. But he's starting to lose some momentum here, Beasty, in a big way. Alistair Swabia might go down next. And with that going down, actually, to be fair, loueMT could raid quite heavily. Mangonel deploys. Does a lot of damage on the Springalds, but doesn't take it out fully. Springalds snipe out the Mangonel. This is going from bad to worse for Beasty. Number of Rams start to escalate. Beasty's villages here in the north, mostly on wood. He's struggling on food. Surprisingly enough, despite these farms, he just can't keep up production. And he's going to start focusing on the Palace of Swabia now. loueMT with 81 military. Beasty, he's starting to struggle. He can't keep up the production. And he's trickling in units, and it's not what he needs. He needs a big force to somehow deal with it, but he can't. And loueMT takes the game on frisian marshes. What a classic game. So much to talk about. So many strategic points to think about in that game. But overall, in the end, loueMT comes up. He takes the trade, and it works out well for him. And he takes the game on frisian marshes. Hope you guys enjoyed this casted game on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Take care, and see you next time.